What's going on, everybody? It is fantastic Friday afternoon. That means we have Mike Zuber, and this is a topic that is going to blow minds. So, Mike, thanks so much for doing this. How you doing,
Absolutely.
my friend?
I'm doing great, man.
All right. So, what I wanted to talk about was a deal, right? And so we always talk about deals, but I wanted to kind of air this conversation out so people can actually see kind of how we talk about deals, right? That we're looking at. I wanted you to talk about a deal that when you came across it, you were just like, holy cow, like this thing is going to be an absolute grand slam. Walk me through that process of how you knew just by looking at something for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
How you were like, Matt, this is going to be crazy.
Yeah. So I got a call. I think this is 2018. It might have been 2017. I got a call from a wholesaler.
Yeah.
I had probably done 4 or 5 deals with wholesalers. This is before the big run up. Right. So wholesalers, again, it was kind of new in the market. I think this wholesaler was making maybe 10, 12, 15 grand on their average deal. He called me up because he knew I liked fixers. I always tell everybody, anytime you find a lot with more than one family, like 2 houses on a lot, I want it. I want to be your first call. I'll pay a little bit more. You'll be happy. So this wholesaler calls me and says, Michael, I know you like 2 families on one or 2 houses on one lot. What do you think about 4? I'm like, well, I like them twice as much. I'd being a smart ass, right? Sometimes I just can't help myself. I like them twice as much.
The answer.
It's like, what are you thinking? He's like, well, great. I've got this deal. But I got to tell you, because you've done a deal with me before, I want to make $50,000 on this deal.
Yep.
I'm like, fine. I don't begrudge you. You found it. Doesn't matter to me. As long as the numbers work, the numbers work. I'm not going to judge your profit. So he ended up locking up these 4 houses, which were rough. They were small. I think they were like 800 square feet. No, they were 600 1-bedroom, 1-bath houses. Kind of, I think it was a 3/4 lot, and they were like 2 here and 2 here.
Interesting.
So I'm like, okay, so what do you got? I locked them up for 100. I'm going to sell them for 150. I called you first because you tell everybody you want multi-houses. Do you want it? And I said, without thinking about it, yes. And he's like, whoa, you haven't even seen them yet. They're really rough. They need new windows. They need new baths. I'm like, how big are they? Like 600 square feet. I'm like, are there roofs? Yes. Are there fire or flood damage? No. Are they on foundations? Yes. I'm like, I'll take it. 150. And he goes, are you sure? I go, send me the contract. I'll sign and send the earnest money tonight if that makes you feel better. So he's like, okay, great. So I go out there. At this time, I'm still going there. I see the property. It's exactly what I thought. It's a big city lot, 4 houses, 2 up front, 2 in the back, no covered parking, basically gravel. The houses they're not really livable, but people are living there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Right. It's definitely a slumlord was letting him go.
Yep.
But why did I say yes? Because even in the market in 2018, these houses should have been worth 100 grand each.
Okay.
I just told you I locked them up for less than 40K each.
Right.
So I locked it up for 150. Those houses of that size, even if I had to gut the kitchens, gut the baths, do everything new roofs, new windows, new doors, were about $25,000 or so. I felt if I could do them all 4 at the same time, getting discounts would be about 22.5. They ended up being about 23. So I bought them for 150. I put basically 100 in. I'm into it 250. I sold them for 400.
So you decided to flip. You didn't even decide.
I did at the time. Some, the market, residential financing, all of that. I took it back. Yeah, I got all my money back and basically doubled my money in about 6 months.
And so, what are the 3 biggest keys to why you were able to do a deal like that?
One is I knew my market. I knew what houses went for. I knew what also, because I had this was like flip number 7 or 8 of my 56. So I knew what my land, because again, 1 rental at a time. I was buying junk and selling to landlords. So it was a model. I knew the entry, the remodel, and the exit because I had done it. And everything to me is the same. I don't add square footage. I do all the same windows, all the same paint, all the same this, all the same that. So it just became a cookie cutter process. And the fact that they were all the 4 the same was great. because they were literally the same configuration 4 times. So because I knew my market, I knew what I could sell them for. I knew what a min max repair budget could be for. I knew what the end buyer was. I had this thing sold
Yeah.
before I closed. Before I closed at 150, I already had a buyer at 400. So tell me how much risk I really had. I'm buying it for 150.
Yeah.
I know what the remodel is going to be within 10%, maybe 15. And I have a buyer that says, yes, when you're done, I'll buy it for 400 grand.
So this shows network being your net worth.
Yep. Tell everybody your buy box.
Yes, exactly. Tell everybody what you're buying because Mike gets a call out of the blue.
Yeah, out of the blue.
Out of
Just
the blue.
because I tell every wholesaler, because you can't tell wholesalers I'll buy any deal you have because that everybody tells them that.
Right.
I tell every wholesaler I want multiple houses on one lot.
Yep.
That's an odd thing. Those aren't everywhere. So when that comes up, they're like, huh, I got a guy that buys that.
And they also know that you know what you're doing when buying something like that. So
Yeah,
you're not going to torture them through the process.
No, I'm not going to retrade them. I give them a yes or no answer.
Yep.
And I told them yes on the first phone call.
So network is the net worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is knowing your market inside and out.
Mm-hmm.
Big piece. And then 3 is if they are, and this is the type of investor you want to be, understanding with a level of expertise about what it's going to cost to get them ready, about what it's going to cost to actually turn those things, because you might have the first one, you might have the second one, but if this is your first deal like this, this is a complex deal, right? This is not one.
Oh yeah. But most people would have walked this property and left. Most people would have walked the property and never gone in.
Yep.
And the insides were worse than the outside.
So for the people that are just getting on board and just starting to talk to wholesalers, right? One of the things that I take away from this is I have not done a lot of wholesale deals. I have done a lot of off-market deals with agents, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So wholesaling isn't a big thing in my area because there's not a ton of inventory to do that with. And there's a much smaller group of wholesalers.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I had somebody that made the call. They picked up the phone. They said, hey, I want you to come look at this property. I go look at the property and it is an interesting property. It's a 9-unit. It's based, but it's 2 separate buildings and it's deeded separately, but they're selling them as a package.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So on one building, I got 3 commercial, 2 resi on top.
Nice.
And then I've got a 4-unit that basically needs to be gutted. No one living there, needs to be gutted.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm doing the math and I'm like, all right, I think done. This is probably worth between 1.1 and 1.2.
Okay.
That's what I think it's worth. And even that is conservative. I mean, could I push and get to 1.3? I probably could, because the location on this, Mike, it's right on the main drag through the city. There are all the bars and restaurants. It is and 1 block over is the newest, most expensive building that's ever been put up in our city.
Oh, wow.
1 block away.
Wow.
So I know that I can do high quality here and do it at a discount and people are going to flock. Right.
Yeah.
So we look at this property and I said to them, I said, okay, I am very interested. And he said to me the same thing that your wholesale do is, we're not sure if we want to do this deal ourselves or if we want to wholesale the deal. And I said, all right, well, what are you guys buying it for? They told me. They said, we're buying it for $575. I said, okay. I said, if you'll sell me the deal, I'll give you 50 grand.
Yep. Done.
I didn't wait for them to tell me. I told them, and here's the thing. Some people are like allergic to that.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like, well, I don't want to overpay. I want them to give the first price. No. I wanted to grab their attention because A, I want the next deal from them. And B, I know what I think this is worth. I had asked them what they thought it was worth. They said, you know what? We think it's probably a $200,000 construction budget. And we think it's probably only worth between 900 and $1 million done. I disagreed. I thought it was worth between 1.1 and 1.2. So we do the deal. We just closed on this one last week and seller got paid the $575. My guys got their $50,000.
That's awesome.
For literally finding a deal. Congratulations to them. I love it. I'm waiting for the next one.
Yeah, of course.
And for me, the appraisal just came in at just under $1.1 million as complete. As complete. As is. But as is. So here's the cool thing. I paid 6.25. I got the bank to give me $175,000 for rehab.
Okay.
So I closed at 800, but 175,000 of that is rehab.
Escrowed, yeah.
Yep. I came to the table with 25% down. That was what we negotiated.
Okay,
I basically came to the table with 200.
okay.
So I paid 200 to close. I'm getting 175 back for the construction. I'm into it all in for 8. And the as complete says it's worth 1.1.
Got it.
The as is says it's worth about 750.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, where do I find myself? I find myself with a deal that's worth 1.1 when I'm finished. I
Mhm.
will finish it in the next probably 3 months, 90 days. What's most amazing about this is those 9 units, cash rental monthly is about 13,000 and change.
Jeez.
And I'll have a
Wow.
cost basis of under 600K.
Not a bad deal.
Sign me up for 5 more of those.
Yeah, I'll take more, please.
So again, the moral of the story is know your market. Your network is your net worth without a doubt.
Mhm.
Understand that if it is something that is going to take rehab, and those are where you find your best deals, because there's much fewer people that are able to do that work to bridge that gap. So learn those skills as quickly as possible. It opens up a lot more possibilities to you.
Yeah.
And then lastly is don't get hung up. If you know your market and you know what that deal is worth, pay up for it. Pay up
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
that hard. Do you regret for 1 second writing that guy a $50,000 commission check, basically?
No, I will gladly write anybody a $50,000 check if I can make 200 grand. Not a problem. I'll do that every day. I'll happily do that.
And it's because you knew the deal. You knew your market. You knew it cold. You knew it. It came across your desk. You're looking at this, you're saying, this is a killer deal.
Dude, I had the thing sold before I owned it. That's how good you can get at this.
Yeah. So guys, this is a skill. It absolutely can be learned. One of the best ways to learn this skill is One Rental at a Time's course by Mike Zuber and 8,000 other people.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, it's not only my course.
Yeah.
It's short courses, this course. Yeah.
I think, you got probably, I think you probably have like 25 segments in there.
Probably.
But there's like 80 total segments or something like that, or 70 something.
It's nuts.
It's nuts, Mike. Holy cow. I felt all embarrassed because I only had 2 segments.
Yeah, well, don't worry. I expect more to come. I'm just saying, you got more to say.
Sales executive leadership right there. That's all right.
Hey, you want to put the bar there? I'll raise it. It's okay.
It's perfection. Mike, tell us how we can find you, my friend.
One rental at a time. Book, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff.
Guys, check out the new book. I know that there are going to be stories in there that you'll relate to and that you'll pull strength from when you're going through some challenges, because you will find challenges doing this. Yeah. It's not as easy as we make it look. And if you watched us in 1 through 10, we made it look not easy, just like what you're going to go through.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, guys, we always spend time putting great content together for you guys. Please subscribe. Please give us a thumbs up. 11:30 a.m. Eastern time this Sunday after One Rental at a Time's financial news. We are doing another long webcast. Your questions, my answers, and we'll have some fun. And I think we've established who the prettiest one is, so we don't need to figure out that question.
Yeah, don't ask that question.
We don't need to figure out the.
I don't like coming in last place.
It's funny because I think we all thought we came in last. So maybe it's just a 3-place tie.
Yeah, it's the
That works.
ugliest threesome on the internet.
Exactly. Ugliest threesome on the internet. Mike, thanks so much for the time. We'll talk soon.